Okay, welcome to drawing video number 4. I think it's 4. So I'm switching it up this week and drawing with ink. And I think ink is my favorite thing to draw with, especially these Pilot drawing pens. They're just really fun, really expressive. And so this week we're going to be drawing cloth. And kind of as a intro to drawing cloth, we're going to be drawing hats. And the reason we're drawing hats is kind of the same reason we've been drawing like trees and logs and other stuff I've had you draw. And the reason is that we all know what hats look like. And so you don't have to kind of spend your time trying to convince a viewer of kind of material or something like that. You can just focus on the wrinkles that you see and the form that you're looking at. So yeah, I'm using a brush pen here, which has like an actual like brush head, and so it's pretty expressive. And another reason I wanted to use this medium this week is that a lot of you are still not being expressive when it comes to line thickness. I think you're improving in terms of form drawing and using lines to define form, but you're still really missing out on the thickness of line and thinness of line kind of communicating something that's like light or heavy. And that's a really important aspect to drawing with line. I'm doing 4 hat drawings, and I think this is the worst one. Not because of like the hat part, but I think the brim part. But as you can see with like all of these, the thickness of the line is like a really major player in why these drawings are effective. Because if it was just a thin line, this would be kind of a boring drawing. And so like these ink brush drawings are really great examples of like how and why you would use line thickness to communicate things about form. And I wouldn't think too hard about it, but like something that's really shadowed on the bottom might have a thicker line than on, say, the top. Or if you want to really accentuate like a curve, you would have like a thicker line rather than a thin line. So all of these choices, and sometimes they're not choices. Sometimes they're just you pressed harder and the line is thicker, and that's also fine too. I think just having line variation, line thickness variation, is just incredibly helpful in making your drawings interesting to look at. See, this is the brim part. I went too fast here. I just like went for it. I don't know. It's all right. These are very quick drawings. I'm doing this in real time again, just because I think I've probably sped up too much of the drawings in the videos, so you're kind of missing out on just sort of looking at how a drawing is done and kind of like where it starts and stuff like that. And you see in this one I'm drawing in the seams because I feel like the form is kind of complicated, and so like that helps, exactly like contour lines, contour shading. It helps to define the form. All right, so here's drawing number 3. And I think I actually like this drawing the best, and it sucks because the brim goes off the page. But you can see that, like, especially when you're doing ink drawings, again, like you have to commit to everything, and there's this like little kind of V divot in the front of the hat that like I keep kind of seeing and drawing, and I feel like I get the V divot thing. Really good in this one. I like that shape. And then, yeah, I just kind of have to draw the brim off the page, which is unfortunate. I should have just like taped another piece of paper there, probably. And I also think in terms of like critiquing my own drawing, so this is a good example of like where line thickness is maybe wrong, is that kind of other side of that triangular shape that I started with is too thick, so it kind of looks like the hat sort of ends. And then there's like another section. So I should have made that line a lot thinner. And, you know, it's just a quick like 2-minute drawing though. So, I could do it again next time and use that as reference. And yeah, I'm just adding a few more details to the hat. I'm looking at my hat here. This next one is, I sped up because I accidentally did not record the edge of the page. And so I'm gonna, I think this is the nicest like lumpy hat one. I like all the different sections. And I'm gonna push it over so you can see it a little better. Worst bill, best lumps. But that's fine. I really like doing these kinds of practice drawings. So the artist we're going to look at this week is one of my favorite contemporary ink drawing artists. His name is T-wei, T-W-E-I. And so this is a great example, much more skilled artist than me, making these really, really expressive, really dynamic ink drawings where line thickness and line variation play a really, really major part. If we look at some other examples here, we've got some really like extreme still lifes of like cars and like different stuff associated with cars. And again, like these lines are just really contributing towards the dynamism of these drawings. They just are really active, really interesting, and really engaging. And they just wouldn't be so effective if they didn't have a variation in line thickness. Here's another one. Again, like we've got some still life stuff. We've got a stump. It's a nice drawing of a stump over there. And we've got like a really cool drawing of a dog. Again, like thick kind of, I would say, kind of juicy ink lines that are just super, super effective and interesting to look at. And then lastly, we've got like a little bit of a character illustration here. He's using some patterns on the hat. And again, like these drawings are really simple. I think that's another thing about using line variation. Like you can have drawings that look complex, but communicate a lot of information because of the thickness of these lines. So again, like these would not be very interesting drawings if the lines didn't have any variation.